Hello and welcome to Sports Talk, a wrap-up of the fall sports season at East Brunswick High School. Hi, I'm Ken Saroka, and I'm joined in studio by Frank Noppenberger, the Supervisor of Athletics for the East Brunswick Public Schools. Frank, fall, wonderful time to get back into the athletics discussion here after a quiet summer. And East Brunswick is buzzing with activity, championships activity. Overall record of 96-31 for the fall sports season. A great year. I mean, this is something that you always want to start that year off on a good foot, I guess, as athletic director.
And I think we do. And before we get into that, let me just make sure I recognize and thank all the volunteers that bring these games to our parents, to the kids, and to the coaches. It's a great tool for everyone. So to you and Channel 3 and all the volunteers, I want to thank you guys publicly, because it's a real keepsake for everyone. But anyway, yeah, the fall, it seems we always have a very good fall. A lot of different theories why. We had a lot of championships this year, a few different championships this year, a few of them in different ways we'll get into later, but it's a great momentum push for the winter season.
We'll start off talking about gymnastics, Coach Karasevsik here. And the gymnastics team, well, I don't know, because maybe they actually have their competitions in our subterranean underground gym that don't get as much publicity as they should.
However, it is one of the best facilities for gymnastics. Years ago, we used to break up the equipment, set it up every day, and break it down every day for practice and meets. And you couldn't believe how much cooperation and work that took. Now, with the cooperation of the Board of Education Administration, we have a gymnastics room that's set up for the entire fall season, and we have a spring floor, we have state-of-the-art equipment. But they were conference champs this year, and it's funny, we sat right here, and we'd have to check the tape, but the coach told me they'd be contenders last year. I'm not sure if I gave it a whammy, but we won it by the slightest of margins. Nevertheless, we did win it. GMC champs. We'll be rated in the top 5 in the state of New Jersey in gymnastics. Unfortunately, Central Jersey, the section we're in with 100 Central, Bishop Bar, it's very competitive. But the coach who did another Coach of the Year performance, congratulations to the girls. Natalie Kwalik was only a 10th grader. She was an outstanding performer. Dia Utapia, she is, I think I pronounced that correctly, she's grade 11. She's another outstanding one, and she was a floor X champ. And Ashley Molyneux, also an underclassman. 3 underclassmen that were the backbone of this team. So I think we're going to be very, very competitive again next year. And it's a result, Ken, and the girls will tell you, all year round gymnastics. These girls go all year round and they love it. And it was a real great team camaraderie this year for them.
Well, let me talk about something, talk about gymnastics. If you go to East Brunswick High School and you see the banners up on the walls, there are a lot of state championships, but for boys gymnastics. Back during the, I guess, 80s, 70s, and 80s, gymnastics was a very, very, I mean, 17 out of 19 years,
right,
if I remember counting correctly, that the boys gymnastics team were state champions.
Well, that was a man named Don Weider, who was just probably the most successful coach in East Brunswick history as far as championships, and certainly in gymnastics in the state of New Jersey. And he just had a great program because he had charisma, he had a great work ethic, and the kids believed in him. And with that combination and the kids going to camps and clinics on their own, we were able to maintain that. I think it was about 80, 88, 89, gymnastics boys kind of flopped in the state. There was less and less teams. And then I guess the state realized that, you know, you could, well, they decided not to sponsor it anymore. They were down to like 15 teams or something. But for a while, it was, in the 60s, the East Brunswick High School gym, the same one, was packed for a gymnastic meet at night. Yeah, great stuff.
The legacy continues, except this time now the girls get to make their presence known in the competitive world there. All right, the cheerleaders, this is their big season too, because you have 2 major outdoor sports going, soccer and football, and they're, you know, Coach Bergen, right, all over the place with the girls here, making sure that they're cheering East Brunswick on. Yeah,
the cheerleading is changing, and these girls are dedicated and they work as hard as any team. And Coach Bergen, you know, being the head coach, he understands that she has built them into a true team spirit. And they are looking forward to the winter season not that they were just using the fall season and the competition season. We have 5 competitions scheduled for them, and the girls are confident they can place in the top in the state in competition cheerleading. But let me just point out, Kim Kelly and Jordan Mueller are co-captains, maybe our best cheerleading captains in a long, long time, okay? They're role models, they're good students, and their work ethic is outstanding. And just 2 underclassmen, Alyssa Ranzio, she's 11th grader. She's been in varsity for 2 years. She's an outstanding gymnast for the future. And then there's a Jackie Giacola, who's a freshman on varsity. So like the other sports, the better athletes, the freshmen, are playing at the varsity level.
One of the features in the student newspaper, the Clarion, was that you actually have a boy on the varsity cheerleading team.
We've had them in the past. We've had lots, 4 or 5 at a time. Sometimes it kind of goes in waves. But he's a heck of an athlete. He's going to be one of our better wrestlers, too. So he's just not a cheerleader. He's a wrestler. He's an athlete. And I think he's thinking he wants to go to West Point, talking to his dad. And he's going to be okay. Mr. Cohn's going to be, he's a great role model for any athlete out there.
One of our consistent winning teams in the fall season is the girls' tennis team under Coach Brian McInerney. They've had individual success as well as the team success.
Another crazy year. Last year, we had to upset everyone at the last minute to clinch the GMC. This year, we breezed through it. Before the finals, we clinched it. And it was just that we were in the right place at the right time. We made the right hits, and we had the right placement, the right seating. So we actually clinched it the day before, and we still came away with 3 champions, individual champions. The way it works is it's a tier system where every time you advance to your first singles or second, you get a team point. And then whoever advances the most, the more people, they get more points, and that's how you win. So we were so far ahead, we clinched it the day before. But Anastasia Mogilewski was a grade 11 only. Now get this, these are all underclassmen. She was a GMC champ at second singles. Dana Say was a third singles. She's a 10th grader. She was a champion. Our first doubles, they were GMC champs, and that's Aldina Abdullah, I think that's correct, and Lisa Zhang. Lisa's the only one, the only senior. And the good thing is they're no one outstanding, but they're good enough to be GMC champs or contend for the GMC individual title. But Mac's a great coach, great motivator, organized, and like I was talking about Don Weider, he can really reach the kids.
And it's hard because they have to cram in their season pretty much before everything else is done. I mean, when November rolls around, I don't think you want to be out there playing tennis.
No, you're absolutely right, Ken. And I don't know what the answer is to that, but they do start a week earlier than everyone. The state recognized that. But you're right. In November, when the most important matches are going on, or late October, it's freezing out there. That's why a lot of them we go indoors. We just missed winning Central Jersey by, I don't even want to go into it. And don't bring it up to Coach Mack.
No, he was very sore that day.
But we had to go indoors for that because of the weather.
The football team, though, had a rather rough year. It seemed as though the schedule started off with teams that East Brunswick should be very competitive with, should be in the games with, the J.P. Stevens, the Monroes, the Edisons. And then you get that monster block against, in the schedule, the second part of the schedule with South Brunswick and Sayreville and Piscataway, the powerhouses in the GMC. And the games in the first part just didn't seem like they were close, but just not able to get over the hump there against teams that they should have perhaps beaten.
Yeah, you know, it's tough. We were in the playoffs last year, the year before, 2 years ago, we were state champs. What people don't realize sometimes, Ken, is you could have your best season ever, but you may not have your best team ever. Okay, when we won those 2 state championships in football, I don't think that was our best teams ever. I think it was that Marcus' second year when we had Pizinko as a running back and Hughes as a quarterback, Celebrity as a wideout. When we had that team, I thought that was the best team, but we didn't win the state championship. So a lot of your success depends on the strength of the other teams. You follow that, right? Now, this year it just seemed that everyone was having a real good year in football, and we were having a down year. That added to the injuries that we had, and we didn't have many returning letter winners.
You mentioned injuries. One of the key injuries, Don Rochelle, not even able to play because of concussions.
Two-way starter.
Yeah,
right?
and
from last year. And then Mike, our quarterback, who showed as much courage as any athlete I've ever seen this year, he was hurt most of the year. So your starting quarterback is hurt. And we had a sophomore quarterback in there, then we had a conversion of a running back to quarterback, then we had a freshman quarterback take a couple snaps. No excuse. I wish we would have won some games, but it wasn't lack of effort. But, as I mentioned, Mike Say had a great year as a captain for us this year. Jake Wodowitz, senior, broke down. Very emotional. Let me just put it at the end of the game. He realized his high school career was over, and he wasn't worrying about the winning and the losing. But it's just the passion some of these guys have for the game, and the way football. The people they get so emotional in your last game. But that was a lasting memory for that. Ryan Burdoff was he was a good player last year. He, in my opinion, if not our MVP, certainly he's got to be considered. But we had two freshmen that did a great job for us. Mike Quinton, right, interior lineman, maybe outside linebacker. Chris Ramos, he won the offensive award at the Thanksgiving game. He's only a junior. And John Gerhartz came in and did some quarterback for us. So we got some young athletes in skill positions coming back next year. So there's no doubt in my mind next year we'll be contenders.
One of the things noticing from playing and broadcasting these games and coming to the games, size does seem to be one of those issues that Marcus every year seems to have to deal with in his own unique way. That we don't have the big quarterback, we don't have that the big running back that can just blow through people.
Well, we have the big guys, but one of them's named Sam, and he's the best discus thrower. And the other one's a basketball player. We have size, but they're just in different sports right now.
Okay, field hockey, and Coach Cindy Todoroff had a great year, 13-5 record in the fall.
The sports, you've been around it a long time, Ken. We lose in a close battle to South Plainfield early in the year. Close battle. Lose to them second time of the year at their place. Wasn't as close, wasn't as tight. Third time, they come here. In a matter of 5 minutes, we have 2 goals, and then the panic sets in. We end up winning the GMC championship. Now, we knew we were a contender. We knew we'd be good. But, team beats you twice. Whose advantage is that? The team that's beaten you twice or the underdog? Who knows? But, yeah, congratulations to Coach Cindy and the girls field hockey team. Outstanding season. They lost in the States to Hunterdon Central, who was the group sectional champion, in overtime, which is a sudden victory. So very competitive team this year, and it's all a result of Cindy. Annalise Ferrari, grade 12, outstanding leader. She was the player of the year. Lauren Cram, she's coming back next year. Rachel Wang, another outstanding player. And congratulations to Coach Todoroff, GMC Conference Coach of the Year. Well deserved. And hopefully the local medias will pick her for some more Coach of the Years.
All right, and now we move to another outdoor sport, both boys and girls cross country. Start with the boys here, who ran into some headwinds competitively.
Boys cross country, a rebuilding year. Coach has them running in packs, and the pack wasn't just as fast this year. Nevertheless, one of my highlights of my career as AD was going to that cross-country meets. I loved them, the GMCs. This year it was in the snow. Remember that Saturday snow we had? Was that end of October?
October, yeah.
And they ran in there, and it was just a great atmosphere. But it wasn't because of lack of effort we didn't win. We just didn't have the talent. But Ross Teicher, thank you for your leadership. And Kevin Ma, who's only a junior, hopefully he'll be the leader we need him to be next year. Girls ran the same day, and they did all right. I think they took a third in the GMC, right where Coach predicted it. And Sarah Frost, our outstanding runner, as a 10th grader, and Samantha Young would provide a lot of leadership for the girls as a 12th grader. But I think we're going to be a lot better next year in the boys and girls cross country.
Well, living close to the high school, as both you and I do, that you see the kids after school and they run in these groups and they're running all through, and you wonder, how do they keep their competitive edge? How do they keep their, their skills up if they're running in and out of the streets of East Brunswick or through the fields? And it's a difficult and different kind of sport.
Yeah, it takes a unique individual. It's a lot of self-motivation because you're worrying about time. Your time. You want to improve your time every race, every run, every workout. And so every day you can feel good about it, like you got a victory, like you won. Like yesterday I ran a 5:35 mile, and today or the next day at time trials I want to get it down to the 5:20s or something. So they're very motivated athletes, the cross-country runners, and they have to be, because there's a lot of fanfare out there, a lot of PR from the newspapers. But they understand work ethic, great work ethic, the dedication of doing that every day. And I like running and I enjoy running, but my running and their running is different. I mean, they're working their butts off. But great job to Coach Harnett and Talbot with the girls this year.
Let's talk about Phil Hostler here, because I think, and I mentioned this to Richie Whalen when we were doing the football broadcast of the Thanksgiving Day game, all the talk in the NFL about concussions, all the talk about in the National Hockey League because of Sidney Crosby, the concussions. Phil Hostler has been so far ahead of that wave for years, for a decade or more. Mm-hmm. He has been one of the experts that high school trainers and athletic directors turn to, I guess, for his work on concussions.
He's on the Brain Injury Commission of New Jersey. He's on a conference call with them as we speak right now about developing programs and education, most of it about educating the people out there. Yes, he's way on top, way ahead of everybody. I'm constantly getting phone calls from other schools, athletic directors. Can they talk to Phil? How do we do this? What do we do this? Phil's always proactive and way ahead of the curve on any of that. And we're lucky to have him and the kids he has involved.
Now, just for our audience here, an athlete that has those kind of symptoms, let's say that Phil does, see them. It's one of those games where Phil is right there. What's the protocols involved here? Because
it's so involved. If the concussion word is used, he's got to come out of the game right away. And the only way he gets back in is if he's cleared by a doctor. And the doctor says he doesn't have a concussion, because the ref can send you out. So if the ref sends you out and you happen to have your school doctor right there on the spot and wants to sign the paper that says you don't have a concussion, that's fine. If you don't, you've got to go through this procedure. You've got to go to your home doctor, right? He examines you. He says, yes, you have a concussion. And then you go back to him and he'll tell you, and then they'll say, okay, you're ready to be rehabbed. And then Phil's got an 8-step program. Not Phil's, it's not Phil's, it's developed by the state. And there's 8 tests that he's got to go through. And once Phil says he can run, his memory is there, his balance is there, his coordination, no more headaches, whatever it may be, he then sends it back to the doctor. And the doctor looks at him again and says, okay, Ken, Phil said you've passed all these tests and you're okay now. Now you can start on your rehab. And then he goes back to our school doctor, and the doctor checks him out again. Then he starts playing. So it could be a week, 2 weeks. And, there's nothing, no one's taking any chances with concussions now.
Especially with, these are young male and female athletes who have their whole lives ahead of them, and the silliness of taking an extra hit to the brain at this stage is not worth any potential benefit of playing in those games down the road.
And I think a lot of it is maybe the equipment's probably better, but everyone's bigger, stronger, better trained, and better athletes, and those collisions are more intense. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Let's move indoors. Girls volleyball. Coach Melissa Strauss. Good season overall, 18-9.
All right. The girls, again, Coach Strauss of Rutz really emphasized defense. When you watch us play, the ball never hits the floor. Okay, they play defense, they play fundamental volleyball. We may not have the best athletes, but we'll be in the game by playing defense, and that's a credit to them. When we had the big kids, we were contention for state championships when we could have the kids that can really pound the ball. If not, we're contention for division titles and GMCs every year. 2 of our outstanding, Sarah Gunya, great job as a leadership, and Nicole Taggarty is going to be a great athlete for us next year in volleyball. Like the other sports, it's an all-year-round thing, and I'm just so happy with. And I attended their senior night with the parents and the kids, and the great camaraderie again. And that's the good thing about our school. Most of them have their own little banquets at the end. Like last night, and we'll talk a minute about girls soccer. I went to the girls soccer banquet, and I got misty listening to the senior girls talk about their playing days and what it meant to them. And a couple of them were up on the podium. They were crying also because this was their last activity together as a soccer team. But it was funny. Some of them were quoting famous coaches. One of them was quoting Vince Lombardi. One was quoting Lou Holtz and stuff. But the girls did a great job at that banquet, and I was so happy to be part of it. But that just goes to show you about our sports. We have the season, and we culminated with a banquet at the end of the year. Just a positive experience.
Now, I jumped out of order here because I wanted to put the soccer teams last, both of them, because they both had incredible seasons. When you look at the records, the girls' soccer team, 15-4-1, the boys' soccer team, 21-2. Those were just outstanding soccer seasons. And,
Right.
I mean, we usually don't get both at the same time. I mean, one.
Well, we do.
But,
we do, Ken.
Well,
It's since 1980. I don't know what defines a dynasty. Do you know? I don't know.
no.
5, 10, 20. Since 1980, East Brunswick girls soccer has won a championship of some sort, a division, conference, sectional, or state title. Since 1980. Can you imagine that? Think about that.
Yeah.
Every year they've won something. And the pressure, and the girls were talking about this, the pressure they have on them to win titles. It's unbelievable that they feel it. Okay, sometimes they don't enjoy the win as much as they should or they can. Like when you watch a team beat our girls soccer team, you would think they just won the World Series. I mean, that's a stepping stone for any school to beat us. So the girls won the division title. They lost 2 close games in the GMC quarters and in the sectional finals in girls soccer, or the sectional semis in girls soccer. And, controversial games, crazy games, wind, blowing, rain, controversial goals, but that's all part of it. And that's where character reveals sports reveals your character. But let me tell you about a couple of the girls. These girls were all division, all conference. Christine Estromera, senior. I think she was co-captain, all division. Angela Marone, they nicknamed her Angela Overtime Marone or something, because she was the uncanny ability to score in overtime. She's a senior. Natasha, who was the player of the year last year as a freshman, and GMC player of the year. She was also all division and conference last year and this year. She's only a junior. Sydney Rossa, all division, all conference as a freshman. And our goalie, the poor goalies, Ken. It seems like everything comes down to them. But, there's 10 other people that ball's got to get through. But I really enjoyed watching Ashley Gamola play this year, and how much she improved over her career, and what poise and character she showed. She demonstrated a lot of that to me. And then Caitlin Patulski will have to go down as one of our all-time best captains ever as a leader. So I thank those girls and Coach Brady for their efforts. And in my opinion, Brady should have been Coach of the Year, but I don't think he's ever going to get it.
Boys came this close, and I have a few of the boys soccer players in my classes, and they were just psyched and so charged up this coming through the playoffs, but that somber kind of feeling afterwards when they could not get that ultimate prize. You talk about that down to business type attitude with these guys, amazing. All right. Once that game started, the grace, the athletic ability they demonstrated, the speed, the skill, their soccer skills was amazing, where they could put the ball, knowing where their teammate is, and I never once saw any type of dissension among them. Okay, they had goals in mind, and they came up short 1 goal, but it was that last 95 seconds of soccer down at Neptune against Shawnee was probably the most exciting 90 seconds I've ever seen, or 5 seconds, 95 seconds. We were banging that ball all over the place, and people were just popping up out of nowhere from them, just defending the ball.
and it was you held your breath, and it was a tough way to lose. But you went down swinging, you went down fighting, and just the last 7 seconds, their goalie was out, and one of their players headed the ball out of the goal for them. But what a great season for the boys soccer and Coach McKibben. Arguably one of the best evers. Best winning percentage ever. GMC champs, Red Division champs, Central Jersey state champs. They're going to be rated top 5, 6, 7 in the state. Maybe 10, depends. And one of our most, we did the top 50 in athletes a couple of years ago. Well, Rob Shalikar will be the first team, the first one on this year's, the next 50 if I'm around, to be what a great defender. He was named Player of the Year by the local media. He was all conference. Abu Basatros, a junior, we're going to see him play some basketball. A senior basketball. He was all division, all conference. Chris Kehoe, only a junior, all division. Chris Bradley, all division. Now, I just mentioned those guys that made all those teams. There's 6, 7, 8 guys other that should have been or could have been, but we can't just dominate the whole division team or conference by East Brunswick. Total team effort, and I'm extremely proud of the coach and the kids and the way they handled everything.
As we look to the winter season, with the last minutes of our show here, there is a special event coming up, or a couple of events coming up for one of our winter season coaches, Kevin McAvoy.
Well, one of our Coach Mack and I started way back in 1977 together. Coach Mack has been coaching at least 2 sports since 1977. And the state of New Jersey and the National Federation of High School Sports are honoring Mack at 2 separate banquets. The first one will be this Monday, the 5th, on the Pines, and that's for his contribution to track. Most people just have one sport, winter track or basketball. They couldn't decide if Mack was more for boys winter track or girls spring track, so they decided, let's just make it track for Coach Mack. And then in the springtime, then they're going to honor him the National Federation for the job being state champs last winter. So congratulations to Coach Mack, and those accolades he's receiving are well deserved.
Any predictions for the winter season?
Let me tell you, if the boys basketball gets lucky, they may win a couple games. Coach Mack said he's got a couple sprinters, a couple freshmen. He said, no, unbelievable.
You've got a new coach for the girls.
Mike Talbot, and we got a couple new runners out there, so we're going to be pretty good. The Sam and the shot put team again. So yeah, Sundberg said we're a year away from swimming, and we're going to save this on tape, because that's what he said. Just like Kara said about gymnastics, he said we're a year away from swimming.
Oh, so we're going to have some fun wrapping up the winter sports season, it seems, here on EBTV. And I'd like to thank the EBTV technical crew for all their help in bringing East Brunswick High School athletics. For Frank Noppenberger, I'm Ken Saroka. Have a good day.